Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is currently pumping towards new all-time highs, getting extremely close to a major breakout above this critical area of resistance. And potentially one of the reasons why Bitcoin is currently pumping is due to the fact that we've just had an executive order straight from the White House in the United States announcing a Bitcoin reserve. That is right, a US government Bitcoin reserve has been announced in this new executive order, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside more Bitcoin news today that is very bullish, while the price of Solana is also pumping closer towards new all-time highs, while the price of Chainlink is now bouncing from this critical area on the price chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the Bitcoin news today, because we do have some massive Bitcoin news today, which is of course an executive order signed from President Trump from the White House here. And essentially it says, as you can see right here, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. And this is the big crypto executive order. And I won't be reading through the entire thing in this video because it is a little bit long, but if you want to read it for yourself, obviously just head over to the whitehouse.gov website. It'll be over there. But giving you a quick overview of this executive order in this video, talking about the most important parts in this order, at least when it comes to crypto in particular. Essentially, this executive order is protecting and promoting the ability to develop and deploy software, participate in mining and validating, transact with other people, and self-custody digital assets. So crypto, of course. And so obviously for the Americans out there, this is big news for crypto holders, and promoting the development and growth of dollar-backed stablecoins. This is also very bullish for stablecoins. This will add more security backing behind stablecoins. And so in the past, some stablecoins have been a little bit sketchy, some have depegged and things like that. But with this, with the US government now backing some stablecoins, this will create a lot more stability in the stablecoin space. And also in this executive order, essentially Trump has banned the issuance and circulation of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, which is also a good thing, at least in my opinion, if you look up what CBDCs are. And then if we're scrolling down further, all the way down closer towards the bottom, we have the big news in the executive order. And first of all, it says the working group shall evaluate, and the working group is just a group of people essentially that will be running this crypto regulation, for example, and it actually explains who the working group will consist of in this executive order if you want to read it for yourself. But essentially, as it says here, the working group shall evaluate the potential creation and maintenance of a national digital asset stockpile and propose criteria for establishing such a stockpile potentially derived from cryptocurrencies lawfully seized by the federal government through its law enforcement efforts. And so, of course, in case you're new to all of this, but if you've been around, you would already know that the US government already holds at least some Bitcoin. They actually hold quite a lot of Bitcoin, 6 figures of Bitcoin, not in dollars, 6 figures of Bitcoin. And they essentially attains that Bitcoin not just by buying it, but by seizing it from criminal activity. And essentially what this executive order says is they're planning to get that Bitcoin from, say, the Department of Justice and move that over to the US Treasury, essentially as an asset stockpile, a Bitcoin reserve or crypto reserve. Obviously, it's not just specifically Bitcoin, it says cryptocurrencies. And now it does not say in this executive order that they will be buying a particular amount of cryptocurrencies or a particular amount of Bitcoin. So if you're wondering if it says they're going to be buying Bitcoin, it does not say that in this executive order, but of course they may end up doing that at some point. But the main takeaway from this executive order, which has just been signed, is essentially this potential creation and maintenance of the digital asset stockpile, as I just said, which is very bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And of course, for the Americans out there, obviously, basically the freedom of having self-custody and transacting with others in crypto, that is, of course, good news for the Americans. And good news for everyone worldwide is the US government helping now with backing some US dollar stablecoins, which will provide more stability in the stablecoin market. And not only did we get this executive order right here, we also saw some other massive Bitcoin news today, which Michael Saylor actually just tweeted out. As we can see, SAB 121 has now been rescinded. And so this essentially means banks can now officially custody Bitcoin. As Michael Saylor says right here, banks can custody Bitcoin. And now, of course, as the Bitcoin holders out there like to do, of course, it is worth having your Bitcoin in self-custody. Personally, I'll keep my Bitcoin in self-custody. I won't be moving my Bitcoin holdings into a bank anytime soon. But you have to realize that the average person out there doesn't want to know all the information revolved around self-custodying Bitcoin. If they're going to hold Bitcoin, they simply just want to log into some sort of account like a bank account and have their Bitcoin account there ready to go. Very simple. And so this is ultimately what is going to help bring mass adoption, as Bitcoin holders like to say. Of course, with Bitcoin becoming more of a utilized currency around the world, ultimately we need things like this happening for the average person. And so in other words, over the last 1 day or so, we saw very bullish news for Bitcoin and crypto, with this crypto executive order being signed by Trump. And of course, this right here being rescinded, essentially deregulating some crypto regulations, allowing some banks and things like that to start custodying Bitcoin. And so with all of that being said, getting into the Bitcoin charts today on this weekly time frame, technically we're still within a larger bull market. Not much has changed over the last 1 day on this chart, and the same can be said about this weekly Bitcoin chart. We're just beginning potentially that next major move in the bull run after obviously around 1 to 2 months of a bit of a break or a pause during the bull run. Very, very similar to what we saw pretty much exactly 1 year ago. And so at least as of right now, history is still potentially repeating. We're still just getting ready for that next significant move. So in case you're new to all of this and you're wondering, well, Bitcoin's at all-time highs, it's already too late, we've already missed the boat here. Well, obviously, if you thought that right here, you would have missed out on a massive pump that happened over the next few weeks and months. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at this 4-day Bitcoin chart, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. And this weekly time frame is still flashing a possible bearish divergence, but ultimately we still need to see some more confirmation to actually properly confirm this bearish divergence, as I've talked about in more detail in recent videos here on the channel. So overall, when we're looking at all of these charts on the larger time frames, we're looking more bullish than bearish, and especially with the Bitcoin and crypto news today and over the last 1 day, very bullish. And just before getting into some other important Bitcoin charts today, first, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take a lot of my trades also over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll actually take you to this page right here where you can look at the Bybit VIP requirements to become a Bybit VIP, which essentially gets you extremely low fees and other things like higher cashback on the Bybit card and things like that. And so, for example, if you're the top VIP tier, you can get up to 10% cash back on purchases with the Bybit card. So basically 10% off anything that you're buying with your Bybit card, which is obviously massive. And also, if you're the top VIP tier, you can get literally 0% fees, 0% trading fees when you're trading on the derivatives market using limit orders if you're the top VIP tier. So extremely low fees. Basically, the higher VIP you are, the lower the fees, etc. And so if you want to check this out for yourself, if you're one of the big traders out there trading with larger amounts, you can get some massive rewards here, massive cashbacks with the Bybit card, very low fees and things like that. Once again, first link below this video if you want to check out this page right here. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitfinex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I will also make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some exclusive bonuses that's only available using that link. And also Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. So once again, Bitfinex down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment alongside Bybit, first link below this video. And with that being said, taking a look at this Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame, and right now the price of Bitcoin is obviously still lacking a bit of momentum here in the short term. Of course, we're looking bullish, but we don't really have a significant amount of bullish momentum, at least so far here in the short term, but we are pumping closer towards new all-time highs. In fact, the current all-time high as of recording this video for the price of Bitcoin is sitting right at around 109,000. And as of recording this video, we're at around 106K to 107K. So only just a few $1,000s away from all-time highs. And so honestly, at any moment now, the price of Bitcoin could hit new all-time highs, new record-breaking highs for the price of Bitcoin. And we still have this price target in play, which is currently playing out, which is sitting at around $116,000 per Bitcoin, which is an active price target right now and has been ever since we broke out above around 100,000. And if we're zooming into the slightly shorter term on the 8-hour time frame, of course, in the short term, as I recorded in this video, the price is still running into this area of resistance, sitting in between around 106,000 to 107,000. And of course, as I've been saying a lot recently here on the channel, we've seen many rejections from this area, proving it as major resistance, at least here in the short term. But once we can eventually see a confirmed breakout, ideally with candle closes above around 107,000, then in that case, that would be extremely bullish here in the short term. We'll finally be breaking out above this major area of resistance, which means we can finally start that next major move, at least up towards this price target at 116K and potentially a lot higher. But it's still worth noting that as of recording this video, we still have some resistance around there. We've not yet actually confirmed the breakout above 107,000, which means here in the short term, we can still struggle and still find some resistance around here. And in the worst case scenario, if we see another rejection from this resistance, we still have a lot of support in this range in between 101,000 to 103,000 if we see some sort of rejection here. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we have more liquidity starting to build just above the price at around 107.5K and more liquidity at around $110,000 per Bitcoin. So those are the levels to watch out for to the upside, areas of interest on the price chart. And as for liquidity to the downside, we do have some at just underneath 101,000 and more liquidity at around 99,000. But for now, we are closer towards this upside liquidity than to this downside liquidity. So overall, Bitcoin is simply just bullish right now on the larger timeframes. We're currently looking more bullish than bearish. And in the short term, we're getting very close to seeing this breakout here, but that's not fully confirmed just yet. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the weekly time frame, technically speaking, Solana, just like Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, is still looking bullish, playing out a clear bull market, forming higher lows and higher highs, and also with an active price target at around $374, which is currently roughly around halfway complete between the breakout and the price target. And this is the current all-time high for the price of Solana, which is sitting at around $295. So obviously, as I've recorded in this video, the price of Solana is extremely close towards that all-time high. It's only just a little move towards new all-time highs. So despite what happens in the short term, of course, we can see little pullbacks and things like that in the short term. But despite that happening on smaller time frames, when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, things are still currently looking very bullish in terms of the bull market. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term on the 8-hour time frame, just over the last 1 day or so, we continued a bounce from this level of support, which is sitting at around $246. And we also have more support at $232. And now, as of recording this video, we're actually starting to break out above this short-term level of resistance, which was sitting at pretty much exactly $260. And the next resistance to watch out for is sitting at around $271. And above that, we could also find some resistance at $278 and $295 based on these highs. But overall, the price of Solana will likely follow similar price action to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is bouncing, Solana will also likely bounce and vice versa. So really just pay attention to Bitcoin in order to figure out what is most likely going to happen for a lot of the major altcoins. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, Chainlink, as of recording this video, is bouncing from this important area of previous resistance, now acting as new support, which is good to see here in the short term. But ideally, we need to see some more momentum here, but so far so good. And in case you're new to this channel, this area that we need to hold above is sitting at around $24.50 to $25.50. So that's the area of support to pay attention to. And below that, we could also find some support at around $24. So really, if we were to break below around $24, that would be bad news in the short term for the price of Chainlink. And in that case, if we were to see a confirmed break below $24, I'd no longer expect this falling wedge to continue to play out. But for now, considering we're holding above these levels, technically speaking, this falling wedge is still actively playing out with a price target sitting at just above $29, around $29.30. And so over the last one day, not a lot has changed for the price of Chainlink. So getting straight into the price of XRP on the 4-hour time frame. And of course, I did not cover XRP in my last video here on the channel. And that's simply due to the fact that XRP has barely changed over the last couple of days. The price is still basically trading sideways, currently lacking some momentum here in the short term, as we can see with these short-term pumps and short-term dumps. And so ultimately, XRP is essentially just range bound in a sideways price range between support and resistance. So first of all, we have a level of support at around $2.95 and another level of support at just above $3, around $3.04, acting as major support where we have seen multiple bounces from. And as for resistance, we have a major area of resistance in between around $3.30 to $3.40, but more specifically around $3.29 to $3.37. And we could also find a bit of short-term resistance closer towards around $3.23 based on these highs right here. So keep in mind the price of XRP is simply looking neutral here in the short term. Of course, when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture on the larger time frames, we're still in that larger bull market like the rest of the crypto market. But XRP is simply just chopping around sideways in a sideways price range. That is the situation right now. But believe it or not, you can still make money in sideways price action like this for as long as the price is chopping around sideways, not trading perfectly sideways. And if you want to know how you can profit from this type of price action, stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, taking a very quick look at the price of ETH on the 3-day time frame, the Ethereum chart. And right now, Ethereum is continuing to bounce from this Fibonacci level of support at just above 3.2K, really closer towards around 32.30 to 32.40, acting as support. So not a lot has changed on this chart over the last few days. And if we're taking a look at this daily time frame, right now the price of Ethereum is currently retesting this area of resistance, which is sitting in between around 34.30 to 35.60, acting as resistance. But ultimately, the price of ETH is still within this sideways price range. We've not confirmed a breakout above this resistance or below this support. So really nothing's changed for Ethereum over the last couple of days here. And in fact, over the last couple of weeks, nothing has really changed for Ethereum. We're still chopping around sideways in a sideways price range. But believe it or not, you can profit from choppy sideways price action just like this, not just bullish and bearish price action, but this type of price action. And if you want to know how to do that, then check out the video in the bottom left of your screen right now, because that video in the bottom left shows you how you can profit from choppy sideways price action. And the video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or shorts positions. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.